Yay, I'm live. It's amazing. That is amazing. I guess just so I can see it. Yeah, I probably need to mute this, right? So I can talk. Let's go live. All right, let's start recording. Record to this computer. And we are recording. Thanks very much for joining the live webinar. If you're watching this from a recording, thank you very much for tuning in. You can pretty much find this in probably, I'm going to be posting it up on all the socials that will be in some sort of way better digestible, right? Because it's in, well, I'm recording this in landscape format. Uh, but I digress. We're just going to wait for any participants that want to join in on a live, and I'll be starting right on time. Just a minute here, and I'll wait for everybody to mill in. Those of you that may have questions, please type a question in the chat, and I'm here to help answer questions. This is a first-time homebuyer webinar, and I I do a lot of these, but they're generally one-on-one consultations with customers and individuals aspiring to own their first home. This happens pretty much every day, I would say. It's not so uniform, so that the presentation is a work in progress for sure. And I look forward to everybody's feedback and questions as we move forward, so I can incorporate more things that everybody wants to hear about. I would say though, if it's something that is unique to you and you have a question and you don't want everybody in the world, don't type it in the comments. Do me a favor, you're going to schedule an appointment. And I'll put a link in the chat later on for you to find me on a calendar so you can find a time that's good for you, good for me, and we can all kind of sit and chat. Generally, my appointments last quite a bit of a while. So we get right down to the nitty gritty for everybody. Yeah. All right, let's get down to it. I think that we've done enough waiting. I want to say thank you very much for everybody that's watching. Welcome to the first time homebuyer webinar done by New Home Know It All. So I've been doing a lot of real estate news in the Houston, Texas area. So this is really a lot of it's geared towards that. And just to give you a little bit about some background about me and my family. So I've been in the new home business or new home and selling builder construction homes for probably the last 13 years, and been in sales for over 30, and selling lots of different kind of things as well too, right? When I say things, experiences. I've worked for very large companies in my past, and that has really done well for affording me great life experience so I can have better conversations with customers moving forward, right? With trying to purchase their brand new home. I own a home and have an investment home as well too. So I have quite a bit of experience in that as well. Lots of colleagues that are investors, and they we pretty much kind of brainstorm a lot. People call them masterminds. I I wouldn't call them masterminds. I don't even like the phrase. I like saying that we're having some coffee, right? Coffee talk, so to say. Not for Klimt, but coffee talk. Those of you that get it, haha. Anyways, so my wife, she's in mortgage. She's a mortgage broker as well too. So I have a, a good depth of knowledge and the ability to grab information and answer questions quite quickly for those buyers that want something or want some information quickly, right? So, that was a little bit of background on me. We're homeowners and also have 3 kids. And they're born and raised here in Texas as well too. So we're quite familiar of the Texas region, right? So let's get right down to it. Most people are asking me these kind of questions, and they're feeling these kind of things, right? I can can we still buy a home in this market? Can we still buy a home in this market? It's daunting. I know, and all the different emotions are out there, right? Everybody's concerned about, with the future and stressed out about bills, rising costs of eggs. Oh, for Pete's sake. And, a little bit intimidated, anxious, uncertain, all the emotions, right? And, I tell everybody this: if you want to be a homeowner, which is kind of it's the American dream. When I became a homeowner, that was the one of the just most amazing things in my life that happened. Right, very proud of that. So it was a really, really, I don't know how to say it. It was really memorable to me. Right, I mean, aside of getting married, meeting my wife, having children. These are all milestones that we all strive for, right? Are we still able to? Do I have to wait 5 years, 10 years, and things like that? I don't, everybody's different. And I would say, on a general scope of things, if you've been working towards, saving money and things like that, and working on your credit and things like that, you should probably heavily consider it if that's something that you want to do. Some people don't ever want to, purchase a home, but then you wouldn't be listening to this, right? You wouldn't be listening to this. So yes, if you've been working on it, is it still a possibility? Absolutely. Is it still possible to get the home that you thought that you were going to move into maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago? Maybe that's going to change, right? And you know what? Dreams change. You know, dreams change. So don't fret. That's why you may be watching this today, right? It is still a good time. When I say still a good time, when's the best time to? I mean, it's very cliche. When's the best time to purchase a home? It is right now. That is correct. Yeah. However, let's take a look at the state of finances, right? So that kind of leads me into this, and this is something that people are bombarded with information all day, every day, and everybody has an agenda, and I hate that. I really do. I say do your own due diligence, or follow people that have some integrity. Have some integrity for sure, right? Have some integrity. So, by the way, I dropped a couple of links in the chat for the Mortgage Know It All, which is my wife's company, right? That I kind of co-own, and she is a fabulous mortgage broker. She's been in the business very. People like working with her because she cares. She's just a great human being, and she tries to make sure that every family is doing the right thing. I dropped a link in the chat that has all my stuff. That's what I call it, new home know-it-all stuff, right? All my stuff. But most importantly, it has links for you to book an appointment with me for a free consultation that's going to cater to you. We'll sit down in this office and chat it up about your hopes and dreams, and but honing that into what I'm talking about here, right? So this is important. Mortgage rates, right? Unless you're paying in cash. If you're paying in cash, I would say get a great real estate professional, and you'll get a great deal. But there's more to it than that, obviously, right? If you want to chat about that, please call me, and we can sit and chat. But mortgage rates, yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. So they hit highs of 7 in November, end of year. Oh my gosh, it's when everybody was saying, "Oh, rates are gonna come down," and all this kind of stuff, right? So it's very unpredictable, especially in the economic climate and political climate that we are in today. Again, this is February 22nd, 2025, and there are a lot of things going on and a lot of uncertainty. So I would say it's important to watch the rates, and maybe you can micro time stuff. I mean, but you really need to watch it, or you have to have a professional that is watching it, that has a really good beat on the market as well too. But nobody has a crystal ball. Okay, nobody has a crystal ball. So it goes back to, if you want to purchase a home, you want to be watching all the things, so to say, just like this, right? But or have professionals that do these things. So say if you wanted to open a restaurant, I'm going to use an analogy. You want to open a restaurant, but you're not a chef, right? You've never ran a kitchen before, or hosted a restaurant, or marketing. But so what are you going to do if you want to open a restaurant because you love food, right? You want to serve good food, you want to do something like that. Well, you're going to hire the best in all these different disciplines. So I implore you, seek out the best when purchasing a brand new home, because it's not unlike purchasing a business or going into business. You are making one of your largest investments in your lifetime, right? So what you want to do is make sure you align yourself with a great mortgage person. I suggested one. And also align yourself with the right real estate professionals that have access to information and have a breadth of experience as well too. So it's not just information. They know what to do with information that is out there today, right? So and it leads me to like the third point in the slide. Things are looking up, but even the economists, you can watch like 5, 6, a dozen, half dozen of them, whatever it is, they all have mixed opinions about future rates, right? What's going to happen. And sometimes it's agenda driven. Sometimes it's really because there's so much data that's conflicting that it's hard to tell, right? I would say this has been one of the most challenging markets to try to figure out what's happening with rates. So yeah, and this is a current chart. If you look at it, right? So from February 2024 to February 2020, 2025, rates have kind of fluctuated here and there, but really with how the economy has been. And I'm not going to talk about like political things, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Yeah. So, but you don't have to be the expert in it. Just like the restaurant, just like if you want to own a restaurant, you don't have to be the chef, right? You can hire someone that's great at what they do, and they come with background, history, accolades, right? So let's get down to some current events that are happening right now as for January. So reported from HAR, single family homes, they rose 1.2% compared to last year. That's pricing, right? Days on the market. Days on the market went up a couple of days, right? Days on the market went up from 59 days to 61 days. So let me explain this. When real estate professionals look at days on market, we look at this, and there's so many, this one sentence means a whole lot, right? So it could, you really have to delve into the individual home, but because the days are changing overall for HAR, when I say HAR, Houston Association of Realtors, has a listing system that is probably globally pretty right up there as for very reputable, right? And they do a great job of keeping track of things. So and it has a mass amount of listings. So anyways, I'm gonna get back on track here, getting sidetracked on myself. So when days go up, I mean, obviously, yeah, okay, there's more inventory on the market, there's economic factors that are happening, but then you're also talking about the individual homes, which ones are holding on, or staying on the market longer? Is it specific segments, whether it's higher priced homes, lower priced homes, middle priced homes? What is it, right? So, I mean, you can break it down into all these minutiae as well, too. But you're going to get this type of information when you're talking to a real estate professional, right? So I implore you, you want to do that, right? You want to be able to interview a few people, or follow some individuals that are going to talk to you about stuff all the time, kind of like us. If you came across this and you like the different pieces of news and all the information, please like, share with your friends, and I guarantee you, you will get something from it. And if you have any questions, if I am missing something, please type a comment in the chat, and you want to hear something else, or for me to answer questions, I'm here to help with that as well too. Okay, inventory expanded for 3.2 months supply to 4.3 months supply. Well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Days on market went up, so inventory. So what's the disparity? What's the difference there? Why is one different from the other? Well, inventory, when we're talking about inventory, we're talking about mainly in the Texas market anyways, in major markets, a new home construction is a big thing right now, right? Because resale homes have just not really come onto the market as much. And just to talk about like that a little bit more, and that's a whole nother video altogether. Individuals that have purchased home in the last few years had really great rates because they were unprecedented rates, and so they're just not coming back on the market. They're not looking forward to selling their home because they have a great rate. So they're trying to hold on to that rate, right? Because it has a great rate. So, we're going to get into rates here in a minute, right? So individuals trying to get into new homes or homes today are seeing a lot of new construction homes. I work for a builder. Currently, I'm working for Chesmore Homes, one of the top builders of the country, but also globally. Yeah. So, anyways, I won't go into too much of that. I'm just saying that's what I work for. All the things that I talk about here today are my opinion as a professional in this industry. So I just wanted to mention that as well, too. So the luxury market, right? Getting back to it, the luxury market, this segment, though, especially here in Houston, Texas, right, with homes priced $1 million and up, had the strongest performance. Wow. Right, an increase of over 20%, right? So, but let's not get away from everything. Those of us that are watching this, first time home buyers, may not be looking at the $1 million homes. I mean, probably not, right? So, but I mean, it's important to know this kind of stuff, where all the numbers kind of fit in. Remember, I was talking about days on market, 1% compared to last year, all this kind of stuff. But remember, year over year, the increase of 20% on $1 million homes and up. Okay, but the average price of homes increased 4.2% to a whopping $406,000, over $406,000, right? So, yeah, I tell people all the time, like I mentioned early on in the webinar, when's the best time to buy? Right now. You never know when pricing is going to change. If you are looking to purchase a home for primary residence and use it in that fashion, you pretty much need to move into a home as soon as possible, right? Because rentals are going up as well too. That's a whole nother video I'm probably going to do as well too, and I will talk about that. But just to briefly discuss that, I was reading some other reports about the rental market, and the medium and average price or monthly rental went up as well too. But we're not talking about like 1%. We're talking about a couple $100 a month. Yes, right. So there's no wonder why, even though pricing for new homes are going up, people are still going in droves to purchase new homes. Why? Because everybody would rather earn equity than you're paying somebody else's mortgage by renting, right? So let's move on, right? So and one can't reiterate this enough. Just kind of piggybacks all of that, right? So you want to date the rate, and this is a really kind of kitschy kind of phrase, and I'm sorry, but what you should do is you should date the rate and marry the home. If you find the right home, do what you can to get into it. And the right home means a lot of things. I know that's budget, cost, location, style, whatever, fits everybody. Yes, I get that, right? So that's very important. So make sure you do that. Just always sit and chat with a trained professional on mortgage and a new home purchase or whatever it is, right? Sit with them, start. That's the most important thing, right? Start, right? Oh, went backwards. Okay, so sorry about that. So remember I was talking to you about renting versus being a homeowner, right? On a $300,000 home, on a $300,000 home, the net worth disparity is enormous, right? From going from a renter to a homeowner. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm always trying to increase my net worth, right? So, I won't harp on this very much, right? So, so what, Alex, right? And people ask all the time. So, what kind of incentives do you have? What kind of home buyer? What programs do you have, right? So there's lots of different things, but first you need to understand a little bit about financing, mortgage, right? What type of mortgages are out there? Conventional mortgage, FHA, VA for all us veterans. Oh, not us, sorry, for veterans. You guys have so many benefits. I'm not a veteran. Sorry, I misspoke there. And USDA, but thank you very much for protecting our country and giving us the privileges that we have. So, which loan is right for you, right? I mean, that's the question. When you're doing this kind of stuff, and when you're shopping for a home, right? And this is things that our true professionals think about as well too, right? We think about this as we're talking to you and trying to figure out, okay, where does it all fit and how can I help this family get into the home that they just fell in love with? Because I'll go on a tour with families and everybody's, you're gonna find a home that you love. So we get the same thing. We get that twinkle in our eye when we see it. And we're like, oh, this is the one. But then, if you didn't do a mortgage application yet, and you haven't talked to a mortgage lender, then all these questions, right? Come up. A conventional loan, it's secured by it's not secured by the government, but it's available through a guaranteed and by a private lender or two government sponsored entities, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, right? It's a very useful loan. It's the one where when you get to 20% equity, it doesn't like you're not going to be charged in mortgage insurance anymore. So everybody's always trying to get into this. However, rates in a conventional lend sometimes are a little bit higher, right? A little bit higher. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, this is also kind of cool as well too. So you can save if you pay for your mortgage insurance upfront. That's possible as well too. But those are for your individuals that have done a lot of savings and want to get rid of it early because that'll help you afford a better monthly payment, right? And some conventional loans you can get down to a lower down payment. However, credit scores need to be there, right? So, I won't go into minutia of it. This is very specific to the individual. If you want to know more, what you want to do is schedule an appointment with the lender, right? So you can schedule an appointment with Nancy, my wife, right? And then so you can kind of figure out, okay, well, what loan is going to be good for you, right? So I'm going to type a link in the chat here, right? Schedule an appointment or mortgage. So you hit that link and schedule an appointment to discuss, right? If you don't necessarily have to do an application, but you do want to talk with a mortgage professional, well, just so you can have a consultation to know what's what, right? That's really important. FHA loans. Everybody's heard of FHA loans. They're the easiest loans to kind of get into, for sure, right? For easiest, when I say get into, like approved for, have a lot of latitude with different approvals. So, but again, very specific to you. So what you want to do is talk to a mortgage lender so you can get really specific information to you. So again, I typed a link in the chat, right? So you can get into a home as low as like a 580 score, right? And maybe even as low as 500, but you're going to need more down payment, from a credit score standpoint, right? So it's easy to refinance. It's got probably the lowest mortgage rates from from standardized kind of standpoint, right, without having to pay anybody or anything like that, right? So, and then it accepts higher debt to income ratios, DTI. When we talk about DTI, we'll talk about that in a minute as well, too, right? So, DTI is, how do I explain this? So, debt to income ratio. So, they're going to take a look at your income, your take home pay, and all the debt that is recurring and things like that, and they're going to need to back it out, right? And see how much is left to afford the mortgage payment, and then there's ratios. They got the math all down. They got the math all down. So, the ratios are going to be different depending on all of this stuff that you see here, right? So again, you're going to want to schedule a time to sit and chat, right? So there are down payment assistance programs, and we'll go into that, right? And then, so here's the really important. On FHA, the seller can pay up to 6%, up to, right? So every loan's a little bit different. So you want to talk to your loan professional, and they can kind of talk to you a little bit about that, right? Seller, not the buyer. Yes, seller. So these are things that you may be asking, and today is very prevalent. In asking the seller to pay concessions into closing costs. So, but so some loans you can get up to 6%, right? So these are tidbits. I know I'm not gatekeeping, so I'm letting you know what's going on, right? This is kind of cool. I know, seem a very hopeful now. So I would say, but don't take this general knowledge. It's a matter of you can't just know and read about Kung Fu. you have to practice it and really know the nuances so that you can actually use it, right? All right, so VA loan benefits. For all you veterans. So no down payment required. Very cool. There's no mortgage insurance premium. Oh my gosh, right? They have lower than average interest rates, low closing costs, right? And there's no prepayment penalty. I mean, if you're a veteran and you don't own a home yet, or you really need to schedule an appointment with me, we can sit and chat about this and see how we can help you get into your next home, right? Because you guys have a lot of benefit for you. So conventional versus FHA, right? So remember, I was talking about conventional earlier. So conventional, it has its advantages, and the advantage is that when you get to 20%, the mortgage insurance will fall off, right? Sometimes that's a couple $100 a month, So, but you got to get to 20%, whether you initially put it down or you build up into it as you pay, right? But FHA is an easier loan to get into, but you have a mortgage insurance premium, and that's for the life of the loan. It will not go away unless you refinance into a conventional. So, very interesting. And then VA has none of that. You don't have an issue at all. So I implore you, get with us, and you can really sit and chat about, wow, what we need. So remember, I was talking about DPAs, or down payment assistance programs. They're out there, right? They're out there. There's not a lot, but they're out there, and sometimes there's some unique programs called the USDA. But this is done through the USDA, and you can go online and kind of look through it. And I'll type the link in the chat for USDA, and that way you can go on there and just kind of take a look. So when you have a down payment assistance program that's available through USDA, it's restricted to certain areas, right? Rural areas. And yeah, there's a lot of other restrictions as well too. There's a max income. There's definitely a mortgage insurance required, and it's only for single family homes, right? So yeah, so it takes care of your down payment, but there's a lot of things that you have to fit into in order for you to get it, right? And there's not always an abundance of homes in those areas for that. Yep. So I won't go over that too long because it's not widely available everywhere, right? So down payment, the differences, right? So we went over this earlier, 0 for VA and USDA, but USDA has quite a bit of restrictions, or things that you have to qualify for, right? FHA 3.5%, and then conventional 3 to 5%, but it could be more. If you put 20% down, you don't have a mortgage insurance, right? So down payment, been saying that word a lot, DP, down payment, right? So you cannot bring cash. You can't be mattress money. Can't be money that's hiding under the mattress. The underwriters, or the individuals, the risk takers, they have to be able to source or figure out where your money came from. So they're going to need bank statements, right? If it came from a relative, they're going to need to know where that came from as well too. If it came from an inheritance, they're going to need to know that. All these kind of things have to be very crystal clear in black and white. So there's some other kind of like down payment assistance programs like Shanoa, Seth, and I won't put these there. They have the same kind of stringent guidelines that you need to follow into, but this will be a whole nother presentation altogether. So what you want to do is schedule an appointment to discuss with Nancy or for mortgage, right? So I put the link right in there in the chat, and discuss that with her, right? TSHAC, every lender can do it. It's a grant. However, there's lots of things about it, right? TSAC's great, but there has a lot that you have to, a lot of criteria that you need to have in order to qualify for it. But the other criteria is all these, like you cannot buy down the rate. So whatever the going rate is whatever you're getting. So sometimes that's not so great, right? Just FYI. But they're out there, so sometimes combined, but you have to talk to the right professional to make sure that they have a really great depth of experience to look at all these things and bring it together just for you. The soup is specific just to you, gotta say, right? So how much money should you have, right? I know the slide already explains that. I always say this: you should always have 6 to 10% of the purchase price in the bank being able to utilize for closing, for down payment, and things like that, because it costs money. You need that, right? Yeah, I mean, for an individual doing a VA loan, maybe not so much. But even in a VA loan, there might be some ancillary costs that you're going to be paying for, inspection and things like that, which we'll go over, right? So down payment assistance programs are not necessarily free money. There's fees that do apply, and they again need to be discussed with your loan officer, right? Down payment assistance fluctuates, so they're not always available, and they don't cover all costs. They cover some costs. And so buyers should, again, outside of the 6 to 10%, you should always have some reserve money saved as well too, right? It says 3 to 6 months. Yeah, if you can have it, great. Again, book a consultation and we can chat about it. because it's not always so simple. Then there are our 1099 people. There's a lot of you, business owners. We love you, entrepreneurs, doing all kinds of stuff. Hotshot, influencers, everybody, affiliates, all this kind of people that have their contractors, things like that, right? They will need to probably go with a non-QM loan, right? So it's a non-qualified, more qualified mortgage. So basically, you're not W-2'd, right? So you're getting a 1099, and maybe you have less than 2 years of employment or tax returns, but your debt to income ratio may be a little bit higher than a conventional mortgage will allow. So, or right, you don't have Social Security, or you work within an I-10. Those of you that know, you're there. That's who you are. Then you're probably going to want one of these kind of loans. Now, doable, but you may have to put in more down payment, and your interest rates might be a little bit different, but still possible. Just gotta talk with us about it, right? Right. So, what about working with a builder? Me, yay! Right. So, working with a builder has lots of advantages. You get to work with a professional generally, and I would say we're not all created equal. My suggestion is always to book an appointment with someone that has great reviews online as well too. You can look me up. I'm not hard to find. You can read all about me. It'll tell you everything about me and who I work for, and the integrity with which the companies that I work for as well too. But going on about new construction. So some bullet points there. I would say same thing for resale, buying a used home with a new home. Get to know your finances first. Do a mortgage application so that when you're going shopping, you know what you're shopping for, right? Have a real estate professional that's working with you as well too. Otherwise, this is not to be misconstrued as a license to go purchase anything. You should definitely talk and consult with a real estate professional. But that said, builders are great. They should come with warranties. They should come with great reviews. They should come with a building philosophy that suits yours, right? And they should be also counselors. When I say counselors, they should be individuals that take you throughout the entire process and hold your hand all the way through. And I would say they should be able to answer any of your questions. I have a team of people behind me, construction people, procurement individuals, customer service individuals, land individuals, and mortgage individuals. And they are the team behind what we do, right? To build homes and provide them for families so they can make memories, they can enjoy their life. So I think a consultation with a new home construction person should really at first start out with what you're looking to do, right? Some of us are just purchasing an investment home, but it's not just an investment home. That's important too, right? Some of us really are passionate about the living spaces that we rent to individual families. But yeah, it should be a consultation about what you're looking for and how we can help get you in there. Maybe it's not the home that I sell. Maybe it's not, but maybe it is. Anyways, I won't harbor that too long. If you want to talk a little bit more about it, please schedule a consultation, right? But remember, I said get pre-approved so that we know, your real estate agent knows where we're going, right? There's nothing more disheartening than falling in love with a home that's $100,000, $200,000 more than my monthly budget. So the process It's very interesting, right? So, I mean, they're going to take a look at your credit, your income, and your assets, right? Pretty easy. They're going to run your credit for sure, right? But don't worry, everybody that purchased a home had to do it unless they purchased in cash, right? So it's something that you just have to do. So understanding monthly payments, right? And so Alex, well, what does that consist of? PITI, we use the acronym PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? So you got to pay homeowners insurance, there's property taxes, there's the principal, like the monthly payment, and the interest, right? And then there's mortgage insurance. So if you're not at 20% equity, you're going to be paying mortgage insurance to an entity that's insuring your loan, right? That's not to be misconstrued that you can default on it and it'll be paid for. It's not going to happen. No, you will lose the home, and then they'll still be paying the mortgage insurance, but it's not covering you. It's covering the lender that's lending you the loan. Anyways, so when you finally get a pre-qualification and you got a letter and you go shopping, there's all this kind of stuff. There's some do's and don'ts, right? Don't make any large purchases after that, right? Don't, well, I mean, you really should be kind of um, gearing up all these kind of things. If you want to take a snapshot or ask me for this, I can send this line to you for sure, right? You have to be very cautious with it. Treat it like an egg, like your baby. Don't mess it up, especially if you've done a lot of work to create a really great credit score. So, what happens when you find a home, right? You got a pre-approval, and then you find a home, yeah, and you get a pre-approval. Well, your loan is now going to be scrutinized by an underwriter, right? It's going to go into submission, so they can probably ask you for as many detailed information and documentation as they possibly need to put in a loan submission and package it up really nice, so it looks very pretty. And the underwriter will finally say, you're fully approved, and you can go close on a home, right? Because you're going to go through a different kind of like journey: loan submission, submittal, and then final approval, and then you can go to close on a home. So this can take anywhere, it could be as little as 2 weeks, but could be as long as 45 days, right? Just kind of depends on your financial background, right? So small investment, it goes a long way, right? So what you want to do when you find a home is use an inspector. I use an inspector on all my homes. I have no affiliation, so I'm not going to refer you to anybody. Maybe I know plenty of great inspectors that have helped me and saved me thousands of dollars, believe me, by helping me rule out or telling me what I need to talk about when purchasing the new home. Because there's this option period, but that's a little bit more detail that you need to talk to your real estate agent, or you need to talk to your new home consultant on how that works with anything on your home inspection report. Now, home inspectors, they're your third party that works for you. Like, you hire them and to go to the home that you fell in love with and take a look at the home and make sure it's up to code. Yep. So won't go into that for too long, right? So what's the biggest mistake most people make, right? They need to do an application for mortgage. That's the biggest mistake people don't do. And I get it. It's painful. It's a lot. It really is not painful. It's like 20, 30 minutes online. It's so easy today. You can upload docs. You can connect your bank. I mean, so many ways to make it an easy process. If you've ever booked an airline ticket, it's about as easy as that. That's what I say. Right. So you can take a snapshot of this. I have some links there. I also put the links in the chat for a consultation and mortgage consultation as well too. Right. So if you're ready, book an appointment. We're here to help. So, question is, how do you feel now, right? Or do you feel better equipped? Well, I think that maybe let's not jump that far ahead. I think maybe, do you have enough knowledge to say, okay, I know the roadmap to get started. And the roadmap is the very first step to go up that staircase, or is to do a loan application, and then schedule an appointment for a consultation with a real estate professional, right? Or with me. That's what I do all day, right? So I hope you're excited and to go shopping for homes, and that is the fun part, right? Shopping for homes, and I get that. I'm not telling you don't do that. Go shopping for brand new homes, but do this at the same time. Believe me, all the real estate professionals are going to be asking you why you haven't done an application. They are, yeah. So normally I would have a Q&A, but thanks again for tuning in. Time is up. I gotta go to my next appointment. But if you have any questions, do me a favor, type some information in the comments or message me. I'm really easy to reach. I want to thank you very much for staying this long in the webinar. So happy shopping. I look forward to seeing, hearing from you, and doing a favor. Um, Tap into live, and if you know, like a share, anything you can to help my channel out. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.